see your son on the news, he's screaming, no, no. This is the Lil Durk lyric that the federal prosecutors open up their whole superseding indictment where they charge Durk with murder for hire, resulting in murder. It's from a song called Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy from Detroit rapper Babyface Ray, and Durk put a verse on it. This is the opening thing. They're using this. This is like their first piece of evidence. Here he rapped about killing Lil Pab, except, as pointed out by Durk's lawyers, the song happened 7 months before Lil Pab got murked, allegedly by Smirk. But how could he have been rapping about something that didn't already happen? Now, this is what's interesting, and this is where it gets tricky, and you should pay attention. These prosecutors, as we know, are using all this social media evidence, which, okay, I mean, they have, anything they want to present that a judge or jury will believe, but the internet is tricky. If you're a middle-aged man or whoever, I'm a middle-aged man who's on the internet all day, so I know what's going on. If you're just somebody who's not really on the internet and YouTube just constantly, you're not into the music scene, well, there's a lot of little things you might not know. So on Durk and Ray never made a video. But when you're big artists like them, people make visualizers. They take pieces of existing videos, still photo, and they edit it real quick. Sometimes there's producers that'll take the acapellas and put a different beat under it. People are trying to get attention. They're being creative. It's the hip-hop culture. They're remixing it. Some people took, what's his name? Quando, running out of the truck saying, no, no, and put it on the song themselves, which the prosecutor was using. This, mind you, this is the beginning of it's the first paragraph, just before they present any other evidence. So, I mean, whatever you write first, that's the most important thing, right? If you asked me to, Al, tell me about yourself, wouldn't the first thing I say to you about myself must be what I think is the most important? I'm not going to tell you a minor detail. I like to wear my hat to the back. I'm not going to tell you that first. So the prosecutor must have felt that was important, and yet it wasn't even accurate. So that's why there's these two. Well, in June, actually, there was a motion to throw the case out because of that, basically saying the prosecutor, if one of their basic pieces of evidence evinces a lack of effort or knowledge and even understanding of what goes on, so you're going to use YouTube videos and you're evincing a lack of effort to research and understand what really goes on YouTube, that these videos, and they may be uploaded, there may be videos uploaded by someone else that added the news clip of Pab saying no, no. I think they got a clip of Durk holding up his phone or something, but that's all after it happened. When that song was made, it was 7 months before the homicide. So his lawyer, Drew Findling, who got him out of the case. Listen, they got him out of the case in Atlanta, though. I think the Atlanta criminal justice system is subject to some money being passed around, but what do I know? But yeah, so he tried to get it dismissed in June based on your basic understanding of this social media that you're pulling evidence from is so flawed, and like you just don't understand it. Other people can take these songs, remix them, put stuff on them, upload them to YouTube. It's got nothing to do. They got an affidavit. They got an affidavit from the engineer. I think Babyface Ray's engineer or whatever. Like, no, I recorded this on this date and uploaded it, and then you can go to the DSP platform and see when it was uploaded. So they showed that song with their verse on it was uploaded 7 months before the homicide. So this should scare all of you to make violent rap songs, because as we saw now in all these cases, Big U, they're using all this social media stuff. That's why oops. Back in action, people, don't worry. I don't get into the made-up gossip stuff. And I get that people do it because it makes them money. But, like, they're using this stuff as evidence, and they don't even understand nor care that it may not be real evidence. A video of Durk saying, oh, the hit is on go, your son screaming no, and then playing a news clip of that, well, it sounds bad unless you knew it happened 7 months before and other people added that, because it's dramatic. It makes for something, some wild looking shit. So, a treasure trove of evidence on social media, but you have people, and I'm not even going to ascribe bad, I'm not saying they're trying to frame nobody, but they don't live on YouTube. They don't live on Facebook. They don't know that there's, like, it's a whole world online of people taking each other's stuff, adding things to it. We all know that. If I wanted to have a whole album of me and Durk, it's easy to download Durk songs, erase his voice from part of it, me rap on it, use a bunch of filters and effects, and make me, I already have kind of a voice that would work on a rap song, make me sound like Pop Smoke or something. It would be Al Prophet performing as as Pop Smoke with Lil Durk. And it would sound probably pretty okay because of technology. Now, if you didn't know that, if you didn't know about all that stuff, you wouldn't know, and it would blow your mind. So he tried to get it taken out June of 2025 based on that. That obviously didn't work. So now his attorney Finling is trying to get it dismissed. I'll give it to him. These high-paid lawyers find every little thing. So the federal prosecutor assigned to the case was temporary. So when a new president comes in, that's one of their powers. That's one of their biggest powers, is they appoint federal prosecutors. And I guess they have to get approved by Congress, but there's so many federal prosecutors. Congress may give them a hard time with the attorney general, but I would imagine that federal prosecutors are pretty rubber stamped, even if it's someone like Trump, who maybe people don't like. But anyways, Trump, the Republicans have the House and the Senate, so whoever Trump would get approved. But federal prosecutors are, other than cabinet members, as far as who you could interact with in a state, they're the most powerful non-elected officials. And in fact, I'd rather have the mayor of Detroit out to get me than the head federal prosecutor of the Eastern District of Michigan out to get me, by a long shot. Federal prosecutors are extremely powerful people. So in Durk's case, the federal prosecutors, it was interim after Trump came in, and his 120 days had expired and are expired. So they want it dismissed, saying this person had no right to be acting as a federal prosecutor when they charged Durk and when U.S. Treasury funds are being paid to prosecute Durk and the other defendants. I think that would mean that every case in the Central District of California brought under this guy would have to be dismissed. Don't look for it to be dismissed. It may sort of technically be true, but they're not going to dismiss it for that. But again, you give it to these lawyers. I mean, that's why you pay the big money people. They're going to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And in the first thing that I mentioned about the song Wonderful Wayne and Jaggy Boy, he in fact did find something pretty compelling when this case goes to trial, if it goes to trial, to tell a jury and hold up the initial superseding indictment and say the very first paragraph in this whole case against Durk, at least, not against other guys because they have all sorts of other evidence against other guys, but against Durk, is something that was an error. They attributed him to making a song referencing Quando Rondo saying no, no, and singing I Got Your Son on the News saying no, no, and saying that's proof he did this when it was recorded 7 months before the event. That's powerful. That would make a person in a jury, it could be doubtful of a lot. And then another element of why they're trying to get this dismissed is not giving. They have a nice write-up about Durk paid for the hit and he flew to California and whoop-de-wop, but they don't have the nitty-gritty in there. Probably because protected witness one, whoever that's going to be, because the feds have filed there's still a lot of redacted stuff in the court docket. And, but you have to give the defense enough of your prosecution evidence to give them a chance to refute it. And, again, on the surface, it's a nice write-up that sounds bad for Durk, but if you really read it over and over, again, you put the pieces of your puzzle in your head together okay, it makes Durk has the money. What's the name? Killed King Von. Like, it makes sense in your head, but that's not a case. A case has to have specific evidence. The worst thing, and it's kind of bad, but are you going to send somebody to prison for life for it? The only bad thing in the evidence that's released, I mean, okay, Durk flew to California that day. Well, Durk flies places. I mean, being a big entertainer and flying to the entertainment capital of the world. I mean, if they killed somebody in Detroit and Durk flew to Detroit, well, that would be pretty damn weird, right? But to say that because he flew to L.A., it was for the hit, maybe, I mean, sounds believable, but I mean, it's the entertainment capital. Durk can't fly to the entertainment capital. The bad thing they got on him is that text, don't buy no tickets connected to my name, in my name OTF, which of course they did. Boy, if they wouldn't have, this is where it's hard now to do anything that's not tracked. Between your phone, your credit, you make one credit card buy, one tap to pay. Some of these tap to pays, like Whole Foods, the fucking things are turned up to be so strong. Like, you even lift your phone up. Like, you can choose different credit cards to pay. I didn't want to pay off my debit. I wanted to pay off a credit card, and I held the phone up, and bing, it just paid. So you could have your phone just near a store, walk past something, and it registers. I'm not out here committing any crimes, thankfully, because anything you do is register in the FPG Duck murder. I mean, they tracked their license plates from the time they pulled out of O Block till they got to the Gold Coast. And you guys didn't tell me. I didn't know Trench's News got $25,000 from the FBI. He'd been working for the FBI for 10 years. Which is another reason you should stay out the streets. I'm telling you, the worst people, the guys that's floating around out here, that's the most that you're like, oh, no way, him. Like, he robs people. Yeah, he robs people because he's protected. He's snitching. Some of the worst guys are working. That's why they're so bad. They know they got to get out of jail free card. If you weren't riddle me this. If someone on the street, everyone knows that's so-and-so and they getting money and he goes to the strip club and they throw money. If everyone else knows you're a drug dealer, the police don't. If word on the street you're a big killer, at least you should, Vine beat a murder case. At least you should be catching murder cases. So anyone you know that's known killer, they getting money, they should be having police problems. Now, people do beat cases, so that doesn't make them a snitch just because you interact with the police and don't go to jail. But you should be having some interactions with the police if you're really out here doing stuff. But that's a separate tangent. But that's why you shouldn't be a criminal. Unless you're poor, which you should do whatever and get a couple $100,000, change your life or do something else. But being an ongoing serious criminal at this point is just not a recipe for success. But back to Durk. They released a thing yesterday that sort of, again, there's these text messages that the feds are saying, and they're claiming they have expert knowledge of the coded gang language of young black males in Chicago. Maybe, but why would they? That Durk wanted to hit Duke. But I read the text messages. It just sounded like, hey, why aren't you guys doing anything? I'm ready to pipe up. That doesn't mean I'm ready to pipe up on Duke. If I'm Durk saying that, it means I'm personally damn near ready to slide for Vaughn. Why aren't you? And you got all these YouTubers saying that's Durk was going to put a hit out on him. I didn't necessarily read like that to me. I wouldn't say that was true. But Durk's problem, I think, is the credit cards. But OTF is a corporation. Who else had access to hand people an OTF credit card? Did those guys have OTF credit cards? If Durk's case is severed from them, one of them is going to have to say Durk told them to go kill, to stalk and hunt Quando in L.A. and pay them. And if there's the one cutout guy, I forget which one it is, the one who he flew on the private jet to, not the other ones. If the shooters never had a conversation with Durk, well, there's no such thing as a tacit conspiracy. Tacit means unspoken. You can't kill somebody and say, well, I know Al Prophet would have wanted me to do that. No. I had to have said that to you out loud. You can't just say Al would have wanted me to. No, Al had to say that to you. So someone is going to have to say, Durk said, do this. Protected witness one? Probably. They're going to need that. To me, the worst thing Durk has said, don't buy any tickets. Don't buy the tickets in any credit card linked to me. It's pretty incriminating, but when you're a juror and you have to send a young 32-year-old guy to prison for life or for 30 years, just send him to prison for that long off of him saying, don't buy anything that's linked to me. That's a lot. He could just think they're going out there to commit. Listen, you got some guys like that under your wing, you could very easily, hey, man, I don't know what they're doing in L.A. They might be trying to buy some drugs. If you fly them out there, don't connect it to OTF. Just in case they do some dumb shit. That's my rule. I do favors for people. You want a rental car? You need Airbnb for your birthday? I'm not renting it for you. I might give you $200. I don't put anything in my name. That's not because I think you're gonna kill somebody in particular. I just think it's because some crazy shit could possibly happen, and I don't want my name associated with it. So you could come get this 160 in cash. But no. I'm not renting anything in my name for you. Durk could say that. So Durk's lawyer wants to see more of the specific nuts and bolts evidence, which I think must really just be protected witness one. It's got to be somebody on the inside. I don't think Durk did this, huddled up with everybody. He would have had a point man on it or two. So someone's going to have to testify against Durk and say, Durk said do this. Because as it stands, again, the write-ups of the prosecutors are going to always sound really good. But what's the evidence? And if you started off your initial indictment of Durk, the superseding indictment that added Durk to it, with lyrics from a song, shout out to Babyface Ray, that was made 7 months before the crime happened, and the prosecutor was looking at fan videos or something that added the no. Sounds like reasonable doubt to me. Al Prophet, American Dope.